If you are on the chat, all 12 of you, huge numbers, momentous, the most numbers we've ever seen. All 12 of you, get involved, say something. Let me know how you're feeling, all that sort of thing. Let me know who you think's going to take this one. Even if you want to talk about the main, just spew a couple of facts out, then we could all have that conversation. But yeah, it's going to be getting straight into this pistol round. exceL Esports versus Fish123. Is Shaq already going to be leading the charge straight down mid, looking to make some sweet work of MCK with this Glock, and he does just that. A quick headshot for him after a couple of taps. A flash then to be greeted in towards window. We got even a decoy almost trying to fake his way through. Fish123 now know they have an advantage, and for this gives them spacing, right? They don't want to kind of dive off the back of this and go aggressive. They know that they have a lot of time to work with and have this trading advantage as well that they can now try and employ. So for them, it's about grouping up, clustering up, making sure they minimize their losses and can force them ontowards a site. Unfortunately for them, the B site is where exceL have put pretty much the brunt of their work. You know, as we can already see, Cryptic's up on towards short, and then this duo of Mole and Jenko could just do so much damage on this push that Fish123's advantage could quickly be minimized, should I say, as keeTa going to peek out over towards ramp, looking for some information towards A, and all he's going to do is go for a tap here and there, spots out absolutely nothing, but they still decide to barge out towards B nonetheless, just completely trying to push their way in, and they are going to get away with it. Soon they're going to find one, but it's going to be a double kill for Jenko now as he looks for a triple. One quickly to be traded on back, favoring Fish123, but how far are they willing to go with this? Is Jess hot to come in from market, just a little bit cautious about his angles. An opportunity yet again presented on towards the cranium of Cinder as Cryptic's the revolving door on towards short as he then claims to pick on towards keeTa. Leaving it all down to just one man, one sole person to make it work for the side of Fish with 5 seconds on the board. You have to say this dream is all but done. He's looking for the frags. Has he got time to even get that bomb down though? That's going to be the question. Looks like the skin of his teeth, but no. It's almost a half a second required and a half a second too short. exceL Esports off the back of time will close that one down and get themselves that first round, and a lot of that comes down to Cryptic with a quick impact frag on towards short, and then of course Jenko and his early double kill really dwindling down those numbers. Happy days for them. To be honest, Sarah, I don't think I'm going to get a bajillion different questions this time around. I do think that tonight is very much taking relaxed and casual to a whole new level, because the major is on, called Liquid and Flipside playing right now. My vote's on Liquid, though they haven't played Overpass in, what, 3 or 4 months? So that's hella ballsy for them. Hopefully they can be practicing that one. But bringing it back down to the matching question, the match we are kind of, at least here on this stream, to watch. Good start for exceL, but they're going to look to cement this now. They don't want to throw away any sort of fancy footwork with these UMPs and SMGs. They want to keep it clean, make some money, and not give Fish any opportunity to make the Kevlar back Tech 9s they've got to the table actually be able to get anything done at all. So they're trying to seal them out of the round just straight off the bat. And with a minute on the clock, they've already been able to expend a fair bit of utility, but also keep a fair bit back in regards to those Molotovs. So it is shaping up to be pretty good for exceL, especially then when you add into the mix that Jenko's getting that early pick on towards Robin. What more can you say? It's pistols across the board, forced to go aggressive now. Cinder to find himself one. A quick response from Cryptic's as he mows them down. Decides to whip out his sidearm. Never so trusty. Later as it takes down Shaq and Jenko and him up on towards keeTa. Leaving Fish, well, unable to squeeze on through. And back to what will now just be flat Glocks. I'd be surprised if we see too much upgrade fashion. More like just a few P250s here and there. Robin going to just toe the line with 1,650 as he upgrades that P250. But for the most part, it is just going to be fairly basics, the bog standard stuff. A quick nade in towards ramp. Tries to do some early damage. He's going to fall just a bit too far short, but more about the presence as well, as Fish just completely barraged their out towards the site director, clearly having some different ideas on what is going to be happening. And unfortunately, they get absolutely nowhere as MCK just going to get himself an ace in the hole. Nice and easy for him. Couple with his primary weapon, and then the rest with the USP as he taps on through and looks for those beautiful headshots. Nice and crisp. The first buy round now for Fish123. Very, very important for them to try and gain some early traction. They don't want to let a team like exceL pull on through because they're pretty much like a plow at this point. Once they get going, it's going to be very, very hard to get off of that train. The really momentum going to be a big factor for the side of Fish. And unfortunately for them, you kind of look at this map. It's very, very dominant stuff from the CT side. They've got full BAPS control for the most part. You know, we're going to have to pretty much be relying on the anonymity of player almost to try and kind of bring that one back. And Robin falling over towards connector certainly doesn't help at all. There's any looking of almost a bit of lurk action coming in from Keita towards Palace, but you know, the frag that he was searching for would have been MCK almost there just to perch on through, but instead he's going to be greeted by Mole, just playing that close ladder position, and that could be a bit of a tough one, and that could be just another pick for the CT side. Cinder trying to force the push on towards Jess, just trying to trade that one back even further, but does he realise that Cryptic's holding the angle? Who knows, as Keita going to walk right into the crosshair of Jenko, and NDOP just to keep on, well, being patient with those angles. And it is going to be just a quick mop-up. Spencer, you're probably totally right about that one. The view model should have been on the right, and I completely slipped the ball on that, so that's my bad. I'm going to just whip open the... You know what? I can't even whip open the console, because that doesn't work, actually. So how am I going to do this? Let's come up with this on the fly. We're going to go to that, and then we are going to tap into game. Console, please work. There we go. Get to hear all that beautiful frantic keyboard typing, and we should be good. Let's go back to the game. That's my bad. Dropped the ball on that one. Was not really kind of fully set up for tonight. Of course, with the major going on and stuff, everything has been a bit haywire. A lot of my time has been spent watching a Twitch stream today, so things aren't exactly pitch perfect and 100% the way I want them, but hopefully it's watchable. It's all good, Spence. Don't worry about it. It's all peachy. A very strong start for exceL, though, has to be said. This is, you know, exactly what they want, but as I mentioned right at the start for Fish, really looking to shut this one down now. They really need to find themselves the antidote to the CT side. Otherwise, we could be looking at a very daunting performance. Waiting to see what these pistols can do. Of course, they are just trying to find themselves some tags, and for them, it's almost a bit of value in playing these much more longer fights, right? They're really trying to draw out the time and just see if they can bait something out. Cryptic's just going to try and mow them through that wall, but unfortunately he's trying to almost find a bit of a needle in a haystack. Cinder going to walk just step by step towards connector and actually gets a very nice amount of damage on towards Cryptic. They're 13 HP, such a small amount, one that's much more easier for a pistol now to take advantage of, which is why we can see Fish yet again beginning to build up to the old faithful B site. And the reason why we say that is they've gone B practically every single round, bar one time where they got aced by MCK. So certainly a bit of fear on the table for them, as they are going to flash their way in. They have an opportunity to get a bomb plant if they can make it work. Keita going to therefore punish Cryptic just as expected. Just though with a double kill, he's still standing. And they aren't quite able to deal with him. Order Director has decided that today's the day it wants to give up on life. But it doesn't matter. We didn't really miss too much. Jess was eventually traded out. But after getting a triple kill, is that really a trade, or is that just a means to an end? 5-0. This is the buy round that's crucial for Fish. Yet again, they need to shut this down. Just get one round, you convert that into a 2, get kind of to a 5-2 standpoint, and at least start contesting these T-side rounds. Get just something to work with. But if we start seeing exceL get to 6 from there, we're looking at 7. 7-0. I'm looking at the side of exceL. I'm looking at previous results. I'm looking at consistency among these players and the performance they're bringing right now. Wouldn't want to be Fish staring down the barrel of that one. Already, it's going to be a Tech 9 towards the top of mid. Unfortunately, bit of lack of weaponry on that front. Robin trying peeking towards ramp, tries to take advantage of Mole, but he's going to be baited by MCK, but MCK not ready for it at all, and in fact, it's going to be a quick flick from Robin to take him down, punishes him, leading a very crucial advantage to the side of Fish, but can Lee play off of this now? So they're certainly setting up to get themselves, and they execute smokes aplenty. They aren't being thrown just yet. It's still just a poised setup with a bit of stop motion there as they try and off the, well, effectively a bit of a freezing challenge at this point. As Shaq there, flash in hand, eventually going to throw that one out. Is he going to peek off the back of this, though, as a Molotov there to greet towards ramp? That nade could actually be crucial in terms of early damage. It's going to dunk Robin, so there's your pick back on the table. They're going to take down one with the Tech 9 close range, but Cryptic's back on the trade. Smoke towards CT, the bomb plant to go on down, and exceL have themselves a bit of a tough one here, but Jess through the smoke, and a second through the smoke on towards Cinder, now looking for just one final player. Shaq still not able to get that bomb down, eventually going to have to try and get behind Triple, and from there, we'll find it, but this is going to be so damn tough for him to play on out there. Both in connector, that smoke is going to be down, gets the advantage on towards Cryptic's, but may at least have the advantage in spotting him out, but not the one in taking the gunfight, as Cryptic too hot on the trigger with the M4, and what looked like a gun round would have been in favor of Fish. exceL turn it back on its head and take it to 6-0. Just to jump onto what you're saying there, Sarah, though, I think, yeah, playing on the left is pretty much a comfort thing, right? It's all preference. You either love it or you hate it. And personally, I used to play right-handed, and then I think it's for 6 months straight or something, I played left-handed. It's just one of those things of you either kind of like it or not. But a lot of people kind of swap it up every now and then. They just go with whatever they feel comfortable with when they get into server. Some people just kind of leave it as is on right or left. Other people seem to think it's all about eyesight. I don't know. It's almost a bit of a myth, I think you can say. As an early pick yet again to fall into the court of the T-side. Player there to find it. Can they do anything with this, though? exceL looking to get aggressive and ramp. Look at the just amount of confidence from the CT side. Cryptic's aggressive in B apps and aggression towards ramp. That's well and truly spreading yourself way too thin, and they are going to get quickly punished it, but then they trade it back in pretty much all courts, right? Jungle as well, a very crucial position there, is just able to take advantage of Shaq. It's beautiful CS from exceL, but very, very confident. We need to see Fish take advantage of this now. Shut them down. Gonna get into CT. She better find one, but then doesn't want to overcommit to that. Backs off, knowing full well that Jesp in a 1v2 is going to have his work absolutely cut out for him, but it's nice to see punishment being inflicted to exceL, but the fact they were able to get those early picks still very, very concerning. Now Jesp is going to try and make it work over towards jungle, gets to 1v1. Presented to him now up against Cinder. Molotov to go on out, clears out that angle. Does he realise that Cinder's playing to the right though? That's going to be the question. Checks on towards triple. Jesp almost potentially going to be caught off guard, and timing is going to do it just for him. Put in the coffin. Cinder there to find the 1v1, a swift headshot for him. And around on the board at least, so a bit of positivity. But is this the reset? I think that has to be said. I'm looking at the economy of Fish right now and going, if they get reset right here, we are looking at, again, one very brutal and very telling half. Early smokes and flashes to greet the apartments. Almost expecting exceL to just decide, you know what, let's just go aggressive again. Why not? It's just a bit of fun for us at this point. As Fish decide, you know what, maybe we should set ourselves up for something over at the A site. Denko, a beautiful shot with the ADP to start the show. Mole going to get knocked down to 16 HP, and they're making of it. Spots them out towards ramp most importantly as well, which almost throws exceL into a bit of a deep end now as they decide, okay, we can't actually contest this. We can't actually find these picks. Now we have to retake as a team. 5 versus 4. The advantage well and truly in their court. The bomb should almost certainly be finding its way down any second now once Fish actually decide, you know what, we have control. We've realized we've got that. Let's make that happen. And from there, it's going to be purely on solid afterplants. They've got one in ramp, one in palace, bench and site. It's very well spread, but they need to be able to crossfire with each other. Cinder already going to be able to find one on towards Jenko. Now looking for a second on towards Jesp. He can get this. This would be huge, but Jesp going to trade him back. There's Mole just almost banking on the idea that Shaq is going to peek. Robin going to be quickly left with a bit of a flash in the air. Almost hung out to dry as Shaq. Yes, quick to flick on towards him. Leaving all but Robin now. Where is he playing? Well, ramp. exceL have their questions answered for them. And they do reset Fish. And they take it 7-1. This is brutal stuff. You have to look towards MCK, Jesp, and Cryptics right now. They're almost the kind of dynamic triplet, I think you could say at this point, as they both, or all three of them, in fact, sit on 10 kills each, which is certainly huge going into that 9th round. Just doing so much work for their team in terms of these initial picks and the trading affair as well, of course. Just being able to take down Shaq and Palace had a lot of impact to it. Of course, this time it's going to be a group up in the apartments, and Jesp, well, yet again, going to be looking to really pin them down with just even more damage through that panel of wood as Jenko nearly found himself caught out towards the top mid. Knows full well that he can't really afford to do anything too crazy. He doesn't want to re-peek against pistols. Basically doesn't want to lose that AWP. There's just no value in losing that up against pistols, as Jesp is going to find one Cryptic for a second, but Keita and Robin will combine to find all of the trades required to get a bomb plant. The bare minimum for Fish to do the work. As Cinder then going to, with the Deagle, add a bit of flair into it as he punishes Mole. This is doable. This is a round that Fish can take. And this would be very, very painful to the side of exceL if they get away with it. Cinder nearly going to be giving himself up there, but MCK going to make a bit of a whiff of things. But gets given a second chance at life. One that, oh, he's not going to screw it up this time around, as Robin and Kita will look to almost take a bit of a double peek, but a flash they do not spot, and a flash they will not turn away against, leaving MCK to get all of the information and buy so much time for Jenko to get himself out on towards site at this point. This plays perfectly into his hand. Robin got to absolutely play this one perfectly, and he does. Lands that swift headshot there and then, shuts it down, and Fish will get themselves that second round on the board. Quick underpass aggression is going to be the handshake that Jasper's going to be ever so stiff upon, as MCK going to still find himself staring up towards Shaq, a player who's been very, very prevalent, and Palace just finding himself caught out over and over again, unfortunately for him. It is going to be an early pick claimed for Fish123, just player there to find that one. Does bring it back to a 4 versus 4. Robin almost deciding, you know what, I want to stare dead set in towards CT for a second, and oh, he's ever so close to finding a player, but one eventually isn't going to be presented to him on a nice little silver platter. Instead, it's going to be a bit more disappointment for him as he has to wait out that smoke, and from there, and always go back into research mode for MCK. As Jenko just making sure that no funny business is going on towards underpass, but for exceL, there's a big lack of information right now, which is why Mole is trying to force the issue by pushing towards the top and mid. Of course, they know utility is being expended from ramp, so they can kind of connect the dots and go, okay, this is probably going to be a bit of an A push. But do they have the numbers to hold this site? I think the retakes has been where they've been almost weak, but they're facing wide in towards Jenko, a man who is going to do the damage right now as they're trying to double peek him. Eventually, it's going to be Robin to shut him down with the AWP. As he makes it almost switching into a bit of turret mode, but that smoke is going to fade. MCK going to throw out a flash almost the minute it does, and eventually that could be crucial as Mole's still standing towards ramp. He's flanking from behind. He picks up a double kill now, and this is looking very, very bleak as it all comes down to Shaq, a man from Palace. He's been killed every single time he's tried to play that spot. He's never made it work. He gets himself a pick, for sure. But a pick is all that he will find, as he will continually, over and over again, be traded on out. And that's the same outcome in this 10th round. As MCK more than happy to oblige. So for Fish, they get some rounds, right? They get something they can work with. They pick up this commodity. But then they're always shut down. They're always reset. And they really kind of have to be sitting back and licking their wounds now. As you're looking at Robin on AWP, and then, well, what else? What's the supporting factor behind him? Pistols? It's not positive by a long shot. Robin investing into that is very, very risky. So you can, certainly hope that he can make it work as an individual, because that's where it all comes down to, right? Yes, you've got the aggression of Tech9s and Deagles, but I'd say one of exceL's strengths have been handling that. Jenko, we're going to drop on one, and this should be, almost I predict a bit of a drip effect, I think, for Fish. I have a feeling it's not going to be one quick push, but more the individual 1 versus 1s that are going to lead them to a point where they have to decide, okay, Robin, maybe you can save this AWP, but I don't know, it's a tough affair. Mole towards ramp is going to get himself flashed in by Cryptics. Does give an opportunity for Shaq to perhaps find himself caught out as he looks to get himself up on the elevated angle with that Tech9. Spots out the leg of Mole, but then decides, you know what? This fight, not for me. I'm going to back off into the distance, withdraw on away, and from there reposition with the information that he has garnered, which is back again to his old faithful position, Palace. We've been here. We've crossed this bridge. It's well and truly water underneath it at this point. You can only ever ask the question of, well, is he going to do anything from it this time around? As Cryptics going to take down Kita? And our questions yet again have been answered, as Shaq is going to be then taken down by Mole. And that drip effect to talk about, all these 1 versus 1s, look at it really kind of fall into place. This is all it's been, 1 versus 1 Cinder to burn in the flames, leaving Robin, as we said right at the start, left to kind of work out how he's going to save with this AWP, which 25 seconds on the clock. All this round really felt like was Fish123 came into it going, okay, let's waste as much time as we can as individuals to allow Robin to say something that he bought. Very, very all over the place and very, very messy. And exceL deservingly get themselves to a 9-2 standpoint. Of course, it has to be said, I think we all know that Fish would have tried to have made something work. It's not like they just, deliberately went into that round to try to do absolutely nothing. But you get the point, right? I'm hoping that kind of really has been conveyed, which is, it's all in good they were trying to go for those individual fights, but with the pistols and such in that scenario, the minute they started losing all these 1 versus 1s, it really was just a standard scripted round, right? Where they were just this time-wasting factor for Robin to get kind of the minimum amount of time of life that he can walk away with this AWP, which it's pretty much a similar storyline now, right? Except from, again, it's the 1 versus 1. Zhenko going to go very aggressive, and he is forcing it, bear in mind, on towards Fish. It's not a choice for them in that regard, as you can't necessarily expect that quick underpass peek, and you can't really respond to it either. It's certainly going to be a bit of a tough one. Hopefully we can see some sort of response being made to this AWP that is running absolutely wild right now. Fish, they have made one quick addendum. It's, you know what? A cluster bomb out towards B. Let's just try and explode with all full force. Make it work as Robin gets their entry pick, and that is going to be the biting point. Cryptic's to find 2. Looking now for a triple. Robin going to hold the angle. Whips out his pistol. Keita going to be there away. Cryptix is just 4 HP. They should be able to punish him. It should be almost easy to find, and Keita is going to do just that. Takes him down a peg. He's on just 13 HP, but he should be able to plant the bomb. Decides to fake plant it for some reason. Almost trying to bait a bit of a peek from short, but that's not going to take place as Mole is going to be delayed in his rotate. Force Zhenko over towards Market. Mole eventually going to kick it into gear. And it all but falls into place. The bomb did go down, so Fish's economy certainly has been aided. But that's really about it. It's still exceL 10-2 on Mirage. exceL really proving a whole lot right now. I think it has to be said. Of course, they got just a lot of talent. A lot of it comes from the direction of Zhenko and Mole, and then you can't forget Cryptix as well. These guys full of a triplet of Premiership winners, so a lot of experience coming in within this tournament as well, which really does show. The rifle round certainly have been a bit of an interesting affair. At least back and forth trades will start this one off, as Cinder going to be there to do the work and actually putting up one hell of a fight now as he picks himself up. What a double kill. What a way to open this one up, should we say, as MCK now well and truly sandwiched in towards ramp. There's nowhere left for him to go. He has walked right into his grave. Just to peek out towards Connector. This is just a one-man show. One that Fish123 will be quick to end. One thing that has to be mentioned, which is kind of rather apparent when you look at the economy of exceL, is Fish123 have been doing a lot of damage each round. It's not like they have been just kind of getting absolutely wrecked each and every time. They have been doing the damage and they have been, you know, having an impact. It's just actually getting the round on the board, which has been the difficult and strenuous task for them. But getting to 3 is okay. Their end goal, of course, though, is going to be the 10-5. They're looking to grind out pretty much every single round, you know, almost certainly in this half. Has to be flawless. They can't really afford any mistakes either. I think the minute that they do, you screw up one pick, screw up one peak, we're looking at exceL kind of just leaping on forward and saying, you know what, we'll have that, we'll take that, and we'll ruin you for it. As a smoke down towards short is going to block off an AWP, block off Zhenko from being the man that we know and love. But this could be a bloodbath. Mole and Jesp in a crossfire, waiting for this connector push. A smoke is going to go down, but Jesp is going to be playing around this one, and this is going to be just so horrible for them. They walk right on into it. English, it's going to be a bit of a tough one, but they do walk dead set into it. Cinder won't quite fool, but it's a time-wasting affair now for exceL, right? They've got themselves well and truly set up to hold this. Cinder making a big blunder, unable to find the frag on towards Zhenko. And this is just getting easier and easier. About a second now for exceL, a 4 versus 2. Shaq and Robin, the two to try and hold this together. And the CT side, well and truly making a bit of a positive scenario out of this one, at least for them so far. They are on the site, but Robin is trying to almost go for the retake approach from Connector, and it's going to catch them well and truly off guard, as MCK will then be next in line to fall. Shaq another from Palace, and finally it works out for him. He's been playing his position so much, and every single time it has failed. But in that time of need, he does step up, picks up a double kill. Fish123 get themselves a 4. Looking much, much better, and well, now all that stops them from taking that 10-5 scoreline is a whole bunch of pistols on one rifle. Just one rifle. Almost simple stuff. All they have to do is play this like a team, play this smart as a T side, and this should be a round in their back pocket. A 10-5 half, and much, much better, because this could have been well and truly a 12-3. Could have been very, very bleak for them. So for them to piece it together, I do think we have to give them props, but repetition certainly being something they need to kind of look at and go, okay, maybe repetition is something we need to work on. Just, you know, not doing the same old positions, the same old strategies every single time. But there's always that positive. At least they were able to eventually find something and make it stick. Certainly feeling a little bit rambly tonight, so we're gonna try and work on that a little bit, but yeah, I think just talking about the matches might be the way forward. Jesper's gonna try and throw down a nade into connector, a bit of a greeting party there, but unable to really do too much. Robin on towards the site, of course, as he spirals out of control, and well, from there the damage is all but done. Keita, well, I was about to say was low, but it is just Keita now. The only man to be low, 48 HP. Jesp and MCK will try and fight this one back, but it's all but impossible. Shots are plenty. Fish123. They do what we needed. They do what we needed them to do, is what I'm trying to get out there. 10-5. Much more workable scoreline for a terrorist side on Raj. Much more happier on kind of what I saw, because the early rounds, goddamn, that was rough. That was very, very rough indeed. Got to take this halftime opportunity to try and have a gander at the liquid score. But this is, that's very, very close actually. What a match to miss. Damn. 12-13. Looks like we've had a little bit of jump in viewership though. I'm sure it's going to be the second monitor coming out to play. You got E-League on one, Premiership on the other. But if you are here to join us for this match, well, welcome as always. We are looking to just sort of take this one a little bit casual, just chill a little bit, kind of look to see how this is going to go and make sure that we do still get some sort of coverage on the UKCS community this week. Don't want to see it just get idled on by as, you know, the major brushes everything aside. Anyhow, back into the action, back into what is going to be the full-fledged cast, as it is going to be MCK trying to push out towards ramp, a smoke up towards stairs. Glocks are plenty, leading the charge is going to be MCK though. He's really the man to try and make this work. Jess flicks on behind him, takes down one. Robin quick on the trade. Molotov burning away, acting as a bit of a shroud almost, but Robin unable to really use it to its full advantage. He's going to be taken down by Mole. Shaq trying to make it work towards CT, gets a quick drive-by on towards one, and a second on towards Jenko, meaning Cryptix and Mole are the last two remaining, the last two pillars for this T-side, as exceL Esports really want this pistol round. It's the perfect start for them almost. As Cryptic going to find just another on towards Keita. They must have a bit of an awkward affair as Shaq peeks back over towards window and gets perfect timing on it almost, as now the cross all has to be done. Information will be garnered off the back of holding that cross. Shaq is going to miss the jump on towards shore, but Mole in a very, very tough situation right now. Needs to really kind of think out his options. Deciding, okay, do I want to go aggressive? Do I want to play with distance? I've got 40 seconds, so I want to dart even towards the B site. Yes, he certainly can play with his options. Bear in mind that Cinder and Shaq, they're holding connector and jungle right now. They are not budging at all, and every single second that ticks on down is a second closer Mole gets to that B site right now. And if he gets on that site, you know, those four pillars actually work much, much more into his favor when it comes down to that Glock. That close range ability, just a slap in the face. Fish123 as he checks out his angles and decides, you know what, I'm going to go for this plant. I'm going to get it down. Fish, they know full well what is taking place, and now they just have to get themselves in their retake. It's going to be a two-pronged attack. It should be short and mark it. Unless they decide to double on up, which doubling up could work for them. Just take that same peak and rely on the fact that Mole isn't going to be able to land two back-to-back one-taps. But that's also a tough affair now as they get themselves ready to push on through. Mole just almost dancing in this shroud. Shaq on the bomb. Looks at the first now on towards Cinder. Is he able to find it though? Ooh. Excruciating to watch. Barely even a single shot landed. Cinder, meanwhile, just whips out his USP, taps on a few, and will shut him down. So, unfortunate, well, scenes there almost. As exceL Esports will not take that pistol. exceL gonna now have to try and play with these pistols. Fish, on the other hand, looking to really run on full with his SMGs now and cut down any sort of distance between 10-5, turn that well and truly into 10-7, 10-8, and from there, well, the buy round to play for equalization point. A quick nade out on towards the A site. exceL looking to Willenshire just force their way out now. They're pretty much just relying on clear-cut aggression, but they've walked into a UMP. They've given up a 3-man spray, and from there, the Pistols could not find a single thing. They're searching for a needle in a haystack, clearly, when it comes down to their accuracy. As nothing would work out in their favor. That means that it is going to be that 10-7. And here we go into our 18th round, where exceL, we'll talk about that equalization point. They really want to shut this one down. But most notably for the CT side, you have to kind of bear in mind they've kept these SMGs, right? They've kept the 2 UMPs. Kept the P90. That's a risk for a CT side, but it's almost kind of almost playing to reward as well. They're trying to bank on the fact that if they can still walk away with this round, still do this damage, and they come out well and truly ahead. There's already Cryptics to find one. Mole, quick to find a trade. Shaq, though, to dunk onto Zhenko, reverses any sort of trade that Mole was able to achieve. That's now he has to get in towards underpass, knows full well that he needs to group up with his team. Standing behind the back of MCK. And they're kind of looking towards the T-side and going, okay, what opportunities do they really have now as they try and sandwich out one towards A, but the pushes are all but mistimed. As both UMPs respectively find themselves headshots, and from there it's going to be Cryptics and Mole. Well, the last two dwindling men almost. They may have full HP, but, well, I think that's going to be foreshadowed almost by the side of Fish123, as any second now that's going to be a bit of a different storyline. Cryptics creeping around short, Mole on the other hand lurching in connector still, just kind of relying on the fact that maybe someone's going to peek on into him and he can get a pick and turn it into a 2 versus 2, but Fish are playing this very, very smart. They don't want to play any sort of cards at all. They're sitting back, waiting for the dealer to do his thing, go for that shuffle, and from there, well, everything goes their way. They're pretty much getting the perfect 21. Shaq will find the first, and Mole, oh, left the play for the world, and the world, it's just too much for him to handle. A 1 versus 3, impossible for the most, pretty much in most circumstances, I think there. It would have required many a back-to-back headshot. And a pretty brutal standpoint now for the exceL side, all in all. It's 10-8, and all they can do is just fight this one out with Deagles and P250s. Meanwhile, Fish, what was a blisteringly bad start for them, has turned into a contested match overall. Cryptics is going to start the show nice and strong, though. A quick 1 deag for him. Is that quick 1 deag, though, quickly just going to be almost outdone by the likes of these rifles? And I think that's going to be the biggest point of them all, right? It's just wait and see what Fish are able to achieve. Already they try and go for a bit of a window boost. Going to go for a second player up there as well, which... okay, that's risky. Once you get one up there, it's kind of like, okay, you've done it once, shame on you, but the next time you do it, shame on me. And that is going to be kind of the voice within the ears almost of exceL as they just try to do something in window one too many times. Fish123 will play them like a flute and walk away happy as ever. Rifles across the board for them. AWP in towards the pocket of Cinder. Of course, exceL do get to finally get themselves back on a buy with these 5 AK-47s, but you have to start to raise the question of, okay, what are they going to do? Are they still able to, contest this one, or are we looking at Fish, really starting to wake up on their CT side and berate them down with this early aggression? There's Mole trying to make something happen in towards connector. Some early peaks here and there, and early Molotov as well, which very interesting utility usage I think is being brought to the table as Keita up in towards ladder room. A lot of mid control being guarded, very passive setup from Fish as well, most notably. They can't face this one at all, and I think Robin knows that, so he's called towards Shaq and said, okay, don't get yourself in connector, but at least just be around, so if I call on you, you can quickly get yourself into position. And I like that. I think it's very trusting of the CT side. As Mole tries to force his hand on towards Keita, it is going to be a trade. Zhenko is going to pick it up. Where does that lead? Trading yet again. Shaq and MCK going to keep on flowing the punches. It's just another over on towards this A site. Look at that bomb. Look at the clock. And look at this standpoint. It's 2v2. Cinder with a pistol on towards Zhenko. Don't mess this one up. Cinder, the AWP, his saving grace as he nearly messes that one up and makes it almost a very embarrassing moment. But he isn't. He holds it together. He plays sensibly. Smart. And this leads us back to that bomb. It's still sitting in T-spawn for all intents and purposes. exceL, carry that with you. You had a very serious chance to make that round work, but you had to start thinking in the back of your minds, okay, hang on a second, guys. Where's the bomb? What are we going to do with this? We've got 20 seconds on the clock. Very, very almost hilarity-based rounds and circumstances for the side of exceL at this point. As Jess tries to get himself on towards this B site. He'll look for a plant there, but unfortunately, the only thing he's looking for is his own grave in the dust. He falls over into the sand, greeted by a whole lot of lead. Well, at least there is one silver lining for exceL. Their economy is the gift that keeps on giving, as they can get themselves rifles up. Galil's on in some circumstances, but at the end of the day, a Galil is still a rifle. It's still a very, very solid weapon. Cryptic's going to bow out of that rifle contention, though, as he decides, you know what, I'm just going to take a Tech 9. I'm going to get the big utility instead. So I think a good decision from him. But at 10 to 10, I don't want to start to see something. I want to see that wake-up scenario for exceL now, where they just flick that switch and they start to put on a bit of a show. Considering just how strong they were in that first half as well, I think that has to be said. Early days for the CT side, but very, very positive stuff. Only one trade to be picked up by MCK, and arguably that's not quite enough with a minute on the clock. There's a bomb to go down in towards ladder room, and that gives it up towards Cinder. And they know full well that another member of exceL is going to then try and reposition in towards short, and it's so much information for the CT side to work with, right? I think that kind of is the biggest thing to touch on right now, is that it went from a CT side having no idea what was coming their way, literally playing blind, to having everything they need to make these rounds work. MCK is able to secure at least one bare minimum pick on towards Robin, but that still doesn't handle the fact that it's a 3 versus 2, which means Fish have a whole lot of probes out across the map, and now know full well that it's going to be an A push. Shaq falling into a CT that was very unneeded. He didn't need to face that. He could have just sat tight in the corner. Meanwhile, they don't expect Heater to also be there, and he gets to deny that bomb plant. And with 20 seconds left on the clock, that leaves MCK in a very tough predicament now, as he has no choice but to withdraw from his after plant and face right into an AWP. And Cinder, the man to almost be the predator, lying in wait. And the man to edge it out. As Fish take it 11 to 10. But it's that economy for exceL that keeps them going. They can still decide, you know what, we can either go into this or we can go for a bit of a half buy, some light pistols and such. They are going to go for the half buy option of just light pistols and some flashes, with even a lack of Kevlar. MCK deciding, you know what, I just want the body armor. No one else needs it, just me. In an ideal world, of course, they will pick up the bomb plant in this 22nd round, but it's really starting to look like a bit of a, well, a drive-by almost for Fish now. Just look at the CT side from them. Absolutely flawless, not dropping a single round. Couple of shots in towards connector. Shaq looking for the information. Gets the peek on towards MCK. Cinder just another on towards Jenko, but it is going to be a back and forth affair. One that eventually leaves Robin to edge it on out, but it's still flowing. It's still rolling on through. Shaq just another. Surprising that it's him out of nowhere to step up to the plate and make this work, considering just how tough it was for him in that first half to get himself these picks. But now it looks like he's really coming to his own, really stepping up now for the side of Fish. There you have it. Cryptic's going to hit the deck. Fish123 turning a scoreline that is kind of a back and forth, neck and neck affair to, okay, now we're going to take it 12 to 2, or 12 to 10, sorry. And from there, getting ever so closer to that first map win, of course. Fish123, almost the UK's mixed team, the people's favourite, I guess you can say. A lot of old school names, a lot of experience. It's pretty much what some of the old guards of UKCS. And I think that individual ability is really starting to show. Of course, exceL, they do have that chemistry, the camaraderie of being a team, being a structured lineup, a lot of practice behind them when it comes down to setting themselves up. But also there's that kind of newfound ability. Getting practice is one thing, but quality practice, the right amount, a whole different thing in itself, and only time will tell just how well exceL are able to perform, but now it's looking like a tough start for them going to this second half, as their first half was good, second not so much. Cryptic's going to find himself one though. Bit of a blistering affair for them at least as they try and fight their way through on towards this A site. Flashes well and truly in towards CT. Jess going to try and get the bomb down, denying Robin any opportunity to jump on up, but eventually, by the skin of their teeth, the bomb will go down, but it is still going to be a pick for Keita. Cryptic's going to burn away in the flames, leaving just Mole in an impossible situation. What on earth can he possibly do there in Palace? There is no outcome where he wins that round. It's so unfortunate of him, but it's just how it is. There is no outcome where he can win that fight. All that's going to happen is he either goes aggressive and he either gets 3 back-to-back huge one-taps, which that's flat out impossible because he's going to get traded no matter what when you're in a 1v3. So you can only feel for him and just kind of hopefully you see the rest of his teammates step up and will keep themselves alive for the long term. So now it's 13-10. Question has to be asked on just how many rounds it is in the second half, and well, I don't think I need to say a number. It speaks for itself. Just look at that scoreboard. Clearly, mixed team prowess is kind of what rolls on towards Fish. I think, you know, one thing to be mentioning about, you know, referring to them as a mixed team is they may well be kind of the team who swap players around a fair bit and kind of are this revolving lineup. They do still have practice with each other as a team. They still have this basic knowledge of strategy, this basic concept of mid-round calling, and that's been kind of one of their big strengths. So it's not like they are just kind of a team who have come together for the sake of playing. They know what they're doing. They still are well held together. Aggression is going to be what catches Jesp off guard. He has no idea what to expect, and it's led to his death. Mole trying to make a play over towards ladder room. With Jenko on 6 HP, it pretty much banks on him now, especially with... banks on him, but he's 4 HP. What a way to cut me off there almost now, as he's looking for back-to-back one-taps. We'll find one, but Cinder to greet him with the 5-7. Means that we find ourselves at such a brutal standpoint for Fish. This is insane. I just look back to that first half, and exceL were ploughing on through them. Then we saw Fish wake up, and the minute Fish woke up, it was that sudden sign of life, and the fight was tough for them. You know, eventually they brought it back to 10-5, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't anything amazing kind of shock horror. They're going to stomp them on the second half. But then there was that curveball of, okay, they've got pistol. Okay, now they're building into this. Now they're actually starting to make this work. The UMPs are keeping things clean. They're building up their economy. And that's where the role swap changed. That's when exceL went from the team that attempted to be the plow to Fish went, you know what, you can try, but we're going to succeed. We're actually going to do what you failed to do just moments ago. Just moments before. And this CT side really has just proved that. What a round from them. What a match from them. As Jenko at least going to try and, well, make it as quick as possible in this regard as he finds himself a double kill. Mole to find himself another on towards Robin. Finally presenting an advantage for this T side as they're on the A side, and it is going to be a retake. And Mole's position should almost be able to win this round there and then, but Cinder quick to face him. And a Molotov that needed to be over towards stairs. Well, falls dead set into the smoke now, meaning that Keita and Cinder do have themselves a shot. Jesp looking for those one-taps. Molotov in towards Palace. This position hasn't quite been spotted out. Eventually is going to be, however, and Jesp going to miss the shots. Jenko going to find the 1-versus-1, looking for the final shot he needs, and he will get it. A headshot right on towards the cranium of Keita. A quad kill for him. Jenko is the cement that is keeping exceL together right now, whether it comes down to the fact that, yes, rounds haven't been picked up. But if you're looking for a player who's had the most impact, you're looking at Jenko. MCK has done a fair good shout as well, but quad kills, triple kills, double kills. That's the one name that we've really been shouting in that regard, and it has been Jenko. And what a round right there. The first round of this second half. Now the storyline is, are they going to get reset? Because this reset, it'll end them. It will end this game. Already early damage, though, is going to be the name of the game with this one. exceL in such a cluster. But that seems to work for them as Cryptic's going to find himself one. But they don't check their corners. Robin, he's still going to be there standing away. He's being quickly chased down by a Tech 9, but all that's going to do is just force them out on the site. Does get some damage down on towards Jess, but he's down to 3 HP. The Flames always biting at his heels. Some more flashes going towards Market. And this is going to be Or not even a retake at all for the CT side. Shaq and Co will back on away and allow exceL at least something to work with, which leaves us at what, a 14-12 standpoint? That's competitive, I'll give you that. But it will only be the second round of this half, and I think that the scoreline may well be 14-12, but the scoreboard speaks a whole different story. Mole going to be looking on a mission towards the top mid. He can pick off Robin. Well, that's already one ingredient. Could be a fairly successful start. Jenko, just a lurch in the wings up towards Palace. But one perfect flash leads to a double kill. That is absolutely perfect from this CT side. It is going to be trades. That has to be said. Jesper's going to find one with his aptly placed Molotov and Jenko another with his AWP, but this is also a push. One that is going to be very quick to greet. Jenko making it work though, will find himself just another, brings it back to at least a 1 versus 2, but the Molotov is now going to force him out of position, has to smoke himself off and then go aggressive, holds the angle, but at that point, yet again, it's the same storyline when he was in a 1v3, and the same storyline when he's now in a 1 versus 2. Not much he can do. And not much they can do now to save this game, as it's 15-12. They can go into this with a shaky buy. It's not going to be flat rifles on every single player, but it is going to be 3 AK-47s and AWP and Jenko on a Tech 9, which, you know, I think a Tech 9 is still a very meritable weapon. But this is still going to be tough for exceL to try and save now. I think that, you know, as I said just rounds ago, I'm going to say it again. The scoreboard tells a whole lot more than the scoreline currently does. It may well be 15-12, but this feels like a 15-8 at this point. I'll just almost toying with the idea that smoke is going to fade and that'll get him a pick. And if it does, well, it'll be plentiful. Shaq nearly over-facing. Eventually getting caught off guard through the wood, but that isn't quite going to take hold. Meanwhile, Mole back on the aggression over towards B apartment. Shaq just hopping around that smoke. Fish just need to hold themselves together at this point. Just keep doing the same old thing. Get these holds on point. The clock is eventually going to wind on down, and this leads us to what could be a very moot point now for this T side. They're running out of time. They need to gain themselves some traction, as they're well and truly grouped up towards the B site. Molotov now to go out towards Van. A flash being thrown out by Mole. That's going to hit the deck over towards bench. Should be a bit of a blinding affair, but it's going to be a spray down for Robin as he finds himself a second as he tries to contest Cryptics. It is going to be a quick trade for him, at least at a bare minimum, as he finds himself the second frag required. But Cinder is still alive. Jesp going to fall towards short and a second on towards Cryptic. Cinder being an absolute monster with just one shot left in his barrel. Doesn't even want to reload at this point, as Mole left to just kind of sprint on away with this bomb, darting towards the A site as quick as possible. The dreams of his team on his back. He needs to get that down with 10 seconds left. 3 angles to check. CT, jungle, and connector. Which one will present him a frag? Which one will give him a fighting chance in this one? In this one, should we say, as that is going to be the question. Peter, slowly but surely, works his way around that angle. Shaq going to be there to almost cross over towards triple. Getting away with that is huge. There's more going to give him that first 1 versus 1. The smoke, though, to go on down. Cinder, ever so low, bear in mind, 6 HP. That's a very small amount. He finds it, and spray transfer. Mole, what are you doing? A triple kill from him. It's an impossible round, and one that is absolutely winnable. He takes it 15-13. Picking up exceL's, well, 3rd round of the second half, but he's keeping it well and truly alive. exceL on a much weaker buy. This time 2 Tech 9s, a Galil on towards MCK, the AWP still on towards Denko. But they're up against an eco from Fish. They can only afford just pistols, which means we are more than likely looking at what will be a 15-14 standpoint. And from there, Fish123 looking to close this one out, 16-14 before overtime is. As it is some early damage, Cryptic's just 4 HP, Jesp of course did fall. Robin to peek on out and claim his life. The smoke will be something they certainly try and play around. 4 HP still on what Cryptic's is, you know, it's concerning, but I think damage is strong, yes, but damage isn't necessarily the most meaningful thing that will set this one apart. Of course, take a quick glance at the economy of exceL, and if they can close out this round, then it's not going to be too rough for them to make it work going into this final round. But for now, they have to at least close it out. Are we going to see anything crazy coming from the Galil that Robin has guarded? The USB that is still held nice and contently in the hands of Cinder. Jenko looking for the slow peek. Now, we know there's a double stack from Fish and Connector. That's pretty much where they're banking everything towards. So, a slow peek there could certainly merit a frag as Mole there just to hold off the angle. And if he just flies on out as well, then he could shut them down. So, a lot of questions as he greeted with a quick tag, but there you have it. Flies out, gets the one on towards Robin, and from there it's all but on Cinder. And any sort of thread of hope, any possibility that this round was going to go in favor of Fish has pretty much been crushed. Cinder picks up a Galil and maybe can look to do a little bit more damage, but aside from that, it is just going to be Fish battling out to stop and pretty much deny overtime. Yep, Shaney, this is the first map of the best of 2. All or nothing now for the side of exceL Esports. They fought to get here, but now they have to make it worthwhile. Cinder, Perchin Apartments, gets himself a triple kill. Keita, another one towards Jesper, out of nowhere. One position from Cinder, one quick spot that he's not played all game. Shuts down exceL. Their dreams, well, unless Jenko wants to pull off a 1 versus 4, their dream of getting this map, well, into the wind. Jenko greeted with a quick nade, knocked down to 57 HP. Peeks in towards short. He's going to find one on towards Cinder at least. Bring it to a 1 versus 3, but the angle is going to be held. Doesn't check it. And Shaq is going to be there to put him down. A quick headshot for him. GG's to be called. 16-14 is the scoreline. A very tough second half for exceL, and eventually it is going to be the expected outcome of Fish123 taking the win, but yeah, it has to be said, exceL had a very, very solid first half, but just couldn't do anything when they're on the terrorist side. They really just looked very discoordinated, very all over the place, and the 4 rounds they got seemed to be a struggle, let alone, you know, the 5 or 6 they had potential to take, and what could have been a potential win for them.